China's Deputy Premier Deng Xiaoping is reported to have written off any warming up of Sino-Soviet relations for at least a generation.
Good evening, Warwick Evans with TVB's News File. Motorists will pay more for their petrol with a 10% price hike.
Good evening, Nick Griffin with TVB.
Good evening. The world's longest-serving communist leader, Enver Hoxha, is dead at 76. A founder of the Albanian Communist Party.
Warwick Evans with TVB's News Roundup. The Taiwan government tonight insisted there's been no change in its policy of non-compromise with China.
Health scare over Chilean grapes. Water charges set to rise next month. Taiwan authorities round up mainland fishermen. In Japan, seamen go missing after tanker blaze. And the Rushdie controversy reaches the courts. Good evening. After a meeting tonight, doctors at the United Christian Hospital decided to go ahead with their proposed industrial action from April the 1st. Earlier today, during a ceremony at the hospital, the doctors handed over a letter outlining their concern.
Illegal immigrants stampede for Macau residency rights. 3 men are charged in an attempt to smuggle nuclear devices. Soviet and Lithuanian authorities move to cool down tensions. Valium wakes up a man after 8 years. And get set for a one-on-one between Mini Michael Jordan and Mini Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Good evening. The worst is over in Macau. At the height of the disturbance caused by illegal Chinese immigrants demanding residency rights, some 100 people were hurt, some seriously.
社會福利員將工業行動升級。布殊警告伊拉克仲唔撤軍就會開戰。甲組聯賽麗新人升到4-0。新聞嘅詳細內容，華員會福利員分會今晚決定將工業行動升級，抗議政府唔增。
Good evening. China's elder statesman Deng Xiaoping is said to be in good health. That's according to his eldest son, Deng Fufang.
Good evening. Hong Kong will suffer if the U.S. imposes tariffs on Chinese goods.
Police fired 19 shots in car chase, injuring 1 suspect. Local civil servants welcome holidaying governor with protests, and Taiwan rejects China's policy on reunification. Good evening. Police have opened fire on car thieves tonight in Kowloon Tong.
China and the US clash over human rights. A Liberal political party leader steps down. And Macau police swoop on a suspected male prostitution den. Good evening. Renewal of China's most favored nation trading status looks grim tonight following talks between
Health authorities warn of outbreak of pesticide poisoning. China faces serious unemployment problem. And Prince Charles reported confessing to having had an extramarital affair. Good evening. 3 people were taken to hospital today for suspected food poisoning. It's believed they became ill after eating vegetables sprayed with excessive insecticides.
Princess Diana on the way to her final resting place. Millions say goodbye to the people's princess. And Mother Teresa, the saint of the gutters, is dead.
The funeral of Diana, the Princess of Wales, has just taken place in London. Over 1 million people lined the streets to pay their last respects as the procession made its way through the capital.
After Macau, Taiwan is next, says Jiang Zemin. Chris Patton voices concern about basic law reinterpretation, and 2 jockeys injured in Sha-Tin races. Good evening. In about 24 hours, Macau will revert to Chinese rule. President Jiang Zemin says the handover of the territory reflects China's growing economic and political might and paves the way for reunification with Taiwan. Jiang leads a powerful delegation that includes
the largest fall of consumer prices so far this year. Jiang Zemin leaves for America at a summit with Bush. And in Melbourne, a Chinese man appears in court to face murder charges.
Good evening. New government figures show deflation further worsened last month, with consumer prices dropping by 3.7% over a year earlier. Fall was the largest.
Police cracking down on illegal cross-border football betting. Stronger than expected debut for Bank of China shares. And Chelsea landing one of its top prizes.
A joint crackdown on cross-border smuggling. Explosions ripped through a fireworks factory in Australia. And Oprah Winfrey lends star power to the Obama campaign.
Good evening. Customs officers from Hong Kong.
Landfill expansion proposals hit the rocks. Hong Kong demands answers from the U.S. over hacking allegations. And Julia Gillard ousted as Australia's Prime Minister.
Good evening. The government has shelved its plan to expand the Chungkwano landfill amid strong opposition from residents there. It also postponed the funding request for 2 other sites.
A middle-of-the-road fortune stick for Hong Kong. Huge crowds on hand for Lunar New Year fireworks show. And fears of violence grip Bangkok ahead of snap elections.
Good evening. It's a fortune stick that says the people of Hong Kong should not do bad things to harm the city. Retail figures drop, yet tourist numbers are going up. Another high-sea confrontation between China and Vietnam.
Brazil is a country that I would love to go in. I would love to live in Brazil.
Edward Snowden pondering his next move.
Good evening. April saw the biggest fall in retail figures in 5 years. A government spokesman said it's due partly to a drop in spending by tourists. Taiwan police rescue Hong Kong businessman Wang Quan from kidnappers. Beijing lodges a protest against a U.S. warship sailing close to a reef in the Spratlys. And pictures of an aggressive arrest of a black student in the United States.
Good evening. We begin tonight with the dramatic rescue of a Hong Kong businessman more than a month after he was kidnapped in Taiwan.
Two hikers located after being swept away in a flash flood. An interview with Lun Chung-ying on local politics. And the U.S. Defense Chief says China is erecting a Great Wall of self-isolation.
Good evening, and a lucky escape for two hikers today in the New Territories. They were swept away in a flash flood this afternoon. Hours later, they were located by rescue workers.
Zhang Dezhang warns everyone will have to pay the price should Hong Kong descend into chaos. Urgent investigation underway over Egypt Air crash, which left 66 dead. And Liverpool crash at the final hurdle in Europa League. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. State leader Zhang Dezhang had a parting gift for Hong Kong as he wrapped up a 3-day visit to the territory.